name. Amen. All right. Hey,
Awesome.
Kevin Vaughan with you, ladies and gentlemen. Our wonderful, wonderful guest today is Mr. Christopher Holmes, ladies and gentlemen, once again, businessman and author, and we're excited about him today. Hey, Chris, always we give our guests always a time to just open up, and anything you want to say to the network.
I want to start off saying live life to the fullest. Go beyond your fears, go beyond any kind of doubts you have in life, because when you're living within fear, you hold yourself to limitations. So I challenge everybody to live themselves fully.
Oh, I love it, man. Powerful words. You hear that, man? And Chris, how old are you, man? It's important to know that.
29 for a couple more months, and then I'll be 30.
I love it, man. The brother is 30 years old, coming up 30 years old, ladies and gentlemen, and got this wisdom and brilliance, and of course, the entrepreneurship and the authorship that we're going to talk about today as well. Hey, Kevin Vaughan with you on You Need to Bring It. Y'all see that? Y'all need to bring your stuff to the network. Y'all need to get excited about your life, get excited about what you're doing, and we're just so wonderfully excited about you today. Hey, let me read a little bit about Brother Holmes there as we go forward here. Brother Chris Holmes is an entrepreneur. I guess you guys guessed that, right? Entrepreneur. He has published, actually, it's more than 6 books, ain't it now? How many books now, bro?
It's still 6 right now. I haven't put the other ones are still in my head.
Oh, very good. So that's good. I want to have that accurate. So published 6 books on Amazon, ladies and gentlemen, bestseller author. The books are 100 Testimonies of a Young Soul. I love that one right there. Just Another Black Voice. Overcoming Mountains, ladies and gentlemen. The 10 Pillars of Success. He co-authored, and The Impact of Influence. Ooh, man, these are some powerful titles here. He is also the owner of Soul Productions, LLC, ladies and gentlemen. He obtained his BBA in business with Sam Houston State University on August the 5th, 2016. Chris Holmes is now chasing the dream using his talents in photography, social media marketing, poetry, spoken word, and much more. Amen to that. And he leaves a positive impact, ladies and gentlemen, in the communities he speaks in. Lastly, he is also the host of the podcast, bringing guests around the globe on Next Level Thinking. Oh, yeah, y'all welcome, Brother Chris. I like that, Brother Chris. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what we want to. We want to use this wonderful brain that God has given you. So once again,
absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. And he got a fresh, clean cut too for the program.
straight out the chair.
That's awesome, man. Powerful. Well, tell us a little bit more about you, Chris, if you don't mind, just your background, where you were born, a little bit about your family and background, man, how you get you to this point. But tell us a little bit more about you, brother.
So a little bit about my story. I was raised from Huntsville, Texas, the same area that I got from a bachelor in Sam Houston State University. It's a local town. Everybody knows each other and much more. And I was raised with humble parents and grandparents that, put in great discipline. Of course, put in like the Baptist church, that's when people you got to put some foundation. So when you leave home, you still have the thoughts and foundation. So you won't wither away from those, that kind of stuff. So I brought up that teaching, the old school and much more. Throughout high school, I played a little bit of sports as well, but my entrepreneurship actually birthed into beginning while in high school, because that's when I started writing. I had a lot of my influences through a lot of the, I guess you can say, the lyrical artists. Yeah. So we're talking like Nas, especially Tupac was one of my biggest ones. He was a revolutionary, but very deep and poetic. Yeah. And that's where I really sparked into doing my own kind of writing. And that was my creative spark. And from writing my pieces, I shared with my classmates, and they were saying oh, this is pretty dope. You should keep going. Because what I was doing is I was looking at each and every person. And I believe that every person that you face in the world is like a page in the book of life. You learn from so many different other people as well as you go on this journey. And so I was just writing more and more. And then I even took the jump and showed my teacher. Most students be like, man, I'm not going to show my teacher because, they may not like what you're doing and much more. But I said, nah, I'm just going to show. And she was like, man, this is really nice. So keep it up. So if I got my classmates' approval and I got my teacher's approval, I ain't going to stop now. It's just keep going.
Yeah, that's right.
And so it's just the continuous with the writing. The photography part came in by accident because I helped out one of my best friends with his camera. And I always laugh at this. It's during the transition from MySpace. Yes, MySpace. Oh God, MySpace to Facebook, and us as guys wanted a nice profile picture.
Yeah.
Trying to do it for the ladies.
Right.
And I say, like, you spent this much money on a camera? Are you out of your mind? I didn't know how valuable and how much you earned off the camera at the time. So it's like the entrepreneur should be learning as you go. And put the camera in my hand. I didn't know nothing about the controls or anything like that. I just put on automatic because I'm not about to mess this up. I'm not about to pay for it.
Right.
So cool. Put it in my hand. Start taking a couple of snaps. It's like, it's nice. Do it again. Do it again. You put this expensive camera back in my hand. Get out of my hand. So I took some more. Said, man, okay, this is pretty dope. You might have a camera. I'm like, whatever. So I'm driving home. And there's a message with this. And I'm like, do I have a camera? It's like that battle. You know, when you go into something new, it's like, do I have it? Do I not? Yeah. It's like, I might have some. So I'm going to take a chance. I didn't have the funds. Right. This is where the message really comes in. I didn't have the funds. So I took myself to Walmart. I had $1,000 for that camera, right. But I bought, I think it's like a $43 camera. I think it's called Pixel Cool. Okay. It was one of those. Yeah. I look it up, but it was one of those cheap cameras with free software. Free software. Took the camera from there, and I was like, I need to take some pictures. So I started off taking pictures, like different locations, things like that. I need a model called a homegirl. That's free. Like, hey, you want to be a model? Sure.
Exactly.
Using your resources.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just starting taking these pictures more and more, and then I'm putting myself out there into the internet. And then I finally got one of those comments that were saying like, oh, okay, how much do you charge?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I get paid for that. Yeah. And it's continued from there. So with my quick little intro, I just wanted to like tell people to always kind of jump on things. You adapt as you go. But if you never really take that jump to go keep going, or even at all, you only be left with thoughts of what if, because you never started.
Exactly. That's powerful, Chris. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, he's bringing it right there. You need to bring it. Chris is bringing it. And that's what we're all about, ladies and gentlemen. You've got the most brilliant brain in the planet and the history of the world. So use it, right? He wants you to use it. That's what Chris has done. He's using his brain, using his God-given talents. But also, too, he's been pushed by other people, too. That was powerful, Chris, that you mentioned. And I always go back to people, our teachers, our mom and dad, and uncles and aunties and grandmas that push you, man. You need to thank them, guys. You need to thank them for putting that love into you, but also to push you to your greatness as well. So, Chris, yeah, that's powerful, man. So proud of you, man, from the network.
Appreciate it.
For you. And we're just glad that you recognize your greatness, as Brother ATS would say, Brother Antonio T. Smith would say, he recognized your greatness.
Yes, and I think a lot of times, and I had one of my brothers remind me of this too, and it made a lot of sense, is in the middle of a lot of things, you forget how great you are.
Yeah. Exactly.
And the person was like, you're a beast. Yeah. And like, I know sometimes some people will be like, I don't want to do that. Like, no. You got to understand. Yeah, you got a gift, you got a talent too, and acknowledge that you are a beast, you're an animal in what you're doing.
Absolutely. Powerful, Chris. Matter of fact, you hit something right on the head. It's fact you're unique. Man, Chris, there's nobody like you on the planet. And it never was and never will be like you, exactly like you. They may have your, I got several Kevin A. Vaughns out there on the network, but they're not me. But they got the same spelling and everything, correct, name-wise, but they're still not you, the inner you. So yeah, you're right on the money, Chris. You are a unique individual. And as you know, Chris, God has uniquely created you to be what you are today. And that's what we're all searching for, really, is who we really are, and that we exploit that and do what God has called you to do. That is so powerful, Chris. That is so awesome. Chris, one thing we got to do is a commercial break. How can people get in touch with you, man? Photography, and of course, how to get some books, man.
Gotcha. So like the most simplest way, I tell people search the hashtag Soul Productions, because I use that so much through all platforms. Right. So like if you search that hashtag, you can find me from there. Of course, from my website, yourvoiceissoulproductions.com. You find all my social media, but I'm gonna go through the quicker ones real quick. Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram, so C Holmes 2_, Twitter, C Holmes 1_. I try to be consistent. And if you're looking for me on Facebook, my company, it's just look up Soul Productions, or you can put at Soul Productions 1. And if you see that SP that's me.
I love it, man. Thank you so much for that, Chris. We want to make sure people get that. I want at least 1,000 people to go to that website today.
And then if they want to get my book, they can easily just text me.
Yeah.
So like if they want to just text book to 936-585-6537, and then I'll send the link where they can go from there.
Fantastic, Chris. Thank you so much. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with the special guest on You Need to Bring It. Kevin Vaughan, our special guest, Christopher Holmes. Ladies and gentlemen, what a powerful, powerful individual here. I was so impressed with him with the 6 books, ladies and gentlemen. You know, some people ain't even got a half a book out yet. He's got already 6 books out.
But they got their books in the mind, so they usually push it out.
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you guys, those books in the mind and in the heart are no good until they get published, ladies and gentlemen. You understand that? And I get excited because I think about, Chris, I always think about God. You know, God has everything inside of him, but he pushed it out. He said, let's create some stuff, you know? So that means we got to create some stuff too, right? So we want to be like our Father, ladies and gentlemen. So if you got an idea, or if you got your book, you got skills, you need to push it out, just like Chris has done, ladies and gentlemen, in photography and in his book area as well. Let's talk about some of these books real quick. Your first book, let's talk about your first book, that title. Which one was that, Chris? Which was your first one?
I'm glad we bring this up because it actually shows the growth, or like how my writing goes. So my first book was called 100 Testimonies of a Young Soul. Wow. So it's like all poetry. Yeah. And it was 100 poems that I put into my first manuscript. I believe, 16. Yeah, 16 is when I wrote all of those in my senior year to 17. Yes, but I didn't publish it until after high school because I need to find out how to. So I had like a whole stack of paper. Yeah. I was like, how do I put this into a to actually be printed?
Yeah, powerful, man. That's great. You know, Chris, and see if you agree here, you know, poetry, man, is so therapeutic, man, isn't it? And when you get it out, it's just something about poetry, man. It helps you express yourself better in that area. So we're so proud of you in that area because that really just tells people's hearts and souls when you put it on paper like that. So I love poetry, man. I understand you do spoken word and so forth as well. Have you been doing some recent spoken word on the network, anything on social media right now? You doing anything there?
Yeah, I've had some pieces on YouTube. Not too long ago, I kind of freestyle some spoken word. I'm waiting for things to open back up, and I'll challenge myself to go to open mics and just to honestly, I'm challenging myself to do freestyle spoken word on the mic.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm so used to writing, but I like to challenge myself. So I'm like, let's go to mic, go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, y'all got some friends that like that, man. They get up on the mic. You can call them anytime. They're ready to roll, man. And they be quoting stuff off the top of their head, man. I said, wow. The whole book, they be got in the whole head, you know. That's pretty cool, man. As a matter of fact, too, Chris, while I'm thinking about it, if you want to do that, we'd love to have you guys do what we call a poet showcase on the network. So if you want to get some folks together and host that with me, I'll be glad to do that with you, man.
Awesome. Sound like a plan, man.
Yes, sir. Anytime you're ready. We get all the poets from around the country, from around the world, and just give them about 2 or 3 minutes and share the poetry and how to get in touch with them and blow them up. That's what we're all about here on the network, ladies and gentlemen. Hey guys, you need to bring it. That's what we're here to do today here. We're here with the wonderful author. He has 6 books, ladies and gentlemen, Christopher Holmes on the network. Well, tell you what, Chris, let's talk about, because we got some other folks out there that say, hey, I got a book, what I got to do? Can you give us some pointers? Give some folks some pointers for the first book writers, first authors that say, okay, that's wonderful. But can you kind of step them a little bit through? Don't give them everything, of course, until they call you, but because they need to pay you for your time. But kind of step us through for the authors out there and poets, I should say, that say, hey, I'd like to get started. I'm a good poetry writer. What do I do? Or I've got a book. What do I do? Hey, can you help us out a little bit, Chris?
So this is going to sound so simple, but it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Is number one, I want to address this. So when people write their books, of course, it's like their first time thinking that it's going to feel like, they're a child and all that much more. Yeah. But the main thing I keep hearing, and I'm going to say on this one, is just to write, just go. Gotcha. And what happens is, and when my English professors told us this when we were writing all these like 20-page essays and all that, is get your thoughts out on paper too many times, like when people start writing, they're trying to be all grammatical correct, and they kind of like question yourself, like, should I write this? And in the middle of them like trying to change and adapt and all this in the middle of the writing, they forget their thoughts. And they're like, oh, what was that thought I had in my head? And because you were trying to correct yourself in the middle of writing it, you forgot even just some important pieces that probably would let impact. So my challenge to people, like especially their first time, is just get the thoughts out on paper. I can't tell you how many times I did essays in college. I didn't worry about no grammar. I'm just being completely honest. I was like, let me get these thoughts out of my head. I don't care if I miss like 30 periods. I'll fix it later. I need to get these thoughts out of here. So I would either like write it. Of course, we have technology, type it on like Microsoft Word or whatever kind of writing software writing software you use. Or better yet, if you're not the type of person that's fast at typing, you can easily like record your voice. Or I know like Microsoft Word, you can speak into your program and it types for you. The same thing with like iPhones. Like if you just hit the little mic button and speak, you can write your writings pretty quick. So you don't have to be the best typer. You can speak it as long as you get your thoughts out. That's the main thing I tell people is get your thoughts out onto paper or some kind of software before you forget it, because you don't want to be onto this momentum and then you're like, dang, what was I thinking? Because we all had those times. Exactly. Like, I had a point. I forgot. Wait. Just give me that later.
That's brilliant, man. I like that, man. You're absolutely correct, man. That happens to the best of us, man. Because we're trying to get it perfect the first time. You can't do that. You shouldn't do that, I should say, the first time, because you can have time to edit later on, of course, as well. So that's powerful. That was very powerful. I hope y'all got that, guys, what Chris was talking about just flow. Just flow. Just get the river flowing, and then you can come back and correct the area that you need to correct later on. Very, very powerful. So I love that about that. And Chris, it's also with inventions or ideas. Don't worry about the detail. Just get the idea down on paper. Get that poetry down on paper, like you said, and get that book down on paper, and then somebody can help you later on to correct all the rest of it. So you're absolutely correct, because it's amazing, man. You if you don't write it down, you say, man, I had a great idea, but I can't remember.
And now you're mad at yourself because you're like, it was right there and I forgot. Like, I can't believe I just did that. Like, no.
I was trying to wait till something else happened, and then I lost the whole time. So that's even in the middle of the night, guys. You need to wake up.
Or to put even a bigger point, like most of the things I've done in life, I literally had thoughts, and I was like, I'll just do it. And in the middle, I'll figure out along the way. But even to push that even further, a lot of the people who have made a great impact in America, I believe like Martin Luther King from I Had a Dream, just pretty much stepped out on faith, or even inventions from the light bulb, airplanes and much more. I mean, even Facebook. Just think about it. You got this person just like, okay, we're going to build this and everybody's going to log in. And I'm pretty sure everybody was like, how you going to make that work? I don't know, but I'll figure it out as I go.
Absolutely. Now, 7 billion people on it right now? It's amazing that they do it. In fact, I don't know if you guys looked up that business model, but if you look up the Uber business model, like it's got a map of how it's done. It's so simple, but it's not simple. It's simple. On paper, it looks good. I said, man, you got even Facebook. You can see how simple it is, but then, of course, to build it is a whole nother level. But now they've got like 7 billion people on the network and making billion, per second on the network right now. So that's what we want you to do, guys, because we want you to bring it to your network and get there as well. Pretty powerful. Hey, also too, Chris, I was going to ask you, how important do you like journaling? What's the best way you think for people to write down or be able to have stuff available to write down? Because you should have a pen and paper with you at all times, I think, personally. But how do you best record or get that information down?
I mean, at this point, you got so many resources available to you. Of course, you can use traditional, like get a pen and paper. Hold on. Can you still see me? I think my connection. We still good?
That's okay.
Yeah, right. You got the pen and paper. Yeah. You can like use notes like on like my Apple phone like that, or it can be on computer, use sticky notes or whatever. As long as you put your thoughts on anything, I don't care if it's physical or digital, if it's audio, just go. And you have people that just journal by just vlogging video, which is a great way. And I actually encourage a lot of people to do that too, because it tells your story even more. And people like to follow that. Just imagine, because we have like, I'll use a sport example, like Michael Jordan. Just imagine the documentary if Michael Jordan recorded his progression of like from not making the basketball team to always being in the gym to being an all-star athlete at the McDonald's game to going in college, just document all that. You know how crazy that or booming that documentary will be if you can get the inside points, like insider that's never been seen before.
Yeah, he make another $1 billion just off of that.
Yeah. They'll probably be waiting, like, we'll give you $8 billion, please give us a documentary.
Exactly.
Give us the video files.
Be one of a kind, man. It'll be a collector's item, wouldn't it? That's amazing, man. That's powerful. That's a good thought there too, as well. You know, Chris, one thing I wanted to ask you about, because this is so important, is the setting or the mindset. You know, before you start writing, or even when you're writing, so forth. What kind of mindset do we have to have today? Because you can't be interrupted. You know, lots going on in people's lives. We understand that. But do you have to get away to start writing? You know, do you have to take a vacation or go to a park or just close the door and don't answer the phone? You know, what's the mindset and the setting you got to have for really concentrating a little bit on what you want to get out from your inside you that's going to turn into a book or poetry?
Me personally, I like to kind of get away. I like into my room or like even to like a park, so it allows your thoughts to kind of go through and you can actually put it down without any kind of distraction much more. But I do know everyone is different. Right. So some people like to listen to music and they get their inspiration, or some like doing some kind of activity, like either like playing basketball or like, you know, just doing like hobbies that may they spark ideas. Everybody is different, so you do what works best for you. With that said too, is I don't want to put no limitation on like what to do when it comes to bringing your thoughts for the writing, is because your environment, your mindset of what you're going on through life can direct your writing. So for example, if you just got married and you're all happy, your most of your writing is going to reflect that naturally, because that's your emotions. Or like I always like to use artists because it clicks automatically. Or you just went through something very toxic, or a relationship, or somebody just did you wrong, like Erykah Badu. It comes out very strong in your writings. And you know, it's like one of those things. And you know, when you listen to an icon like Erykah Badu, you're like, oh, you should never did that to her, because the whole world knows now.
Exactly. Don't put you on blast big time.
Be like, you better call on Tyrone. I'm like, oh Lord.
Exactly. Yeah, she's brilliant when she takes those pain areas and turns them into victory.
And she gets paid tremendously about that. It's like the old saying that says the artist that suffers the most usually writes the best. If you really think about it, a lot of big hits has came when someone like went through, I'm not encouraging this, but a lot of the big hits come when something happens in their life. And I think it's because a lot of people can relate to it. People can relate to pain.
That's it, Chris. You hit it right on the head. That's the reason why they buy it and listen to it. And of course, the beats are very important, right? The rhythm that sounds with that is so important. But you're absolutely right. That's the key. We all can relate somewhere in, not necessarily personally, but somewhere in the family. You say, yeah, I got a cousin that just went through that, you know, something like that or whatever. So,
or like this guy, you'd be like, yeah, I know how you feel. Like, yeah, I went through that too. Don't do that again.
Exactly. In fact, that's a good part too, because there's some lessons in other people's pain, right? Too as well. I had an aunt that said you can always learn from other people's mistakes. You know, that's that we like them. That other people have mistakes.
I want to go even further on that. You actually grow the most when you go through something, like through your pains. Because that's where your lessons are. It's like no different from like when you go to the weight room and you're lifting weight, you're breaking down muscles, you're going through pain, and that's when you grow the strongest. Or in the classroom, you are in the classroom and then the teacher or professor goes to the board, starts writing this equation or some kind of writing, and you're like, what is that? And then the professor or whoever like, all right, Chris, go to the board. You're like, now outside the comfort zone, you're on the board, you're trying your best, you may make some mistakes, but as you make your mistakes, you learn and get better.
That's it, man. That's the wisdom there, ladies and gentlemen. Our special guest on You Need to Bring It, ladies and gentlemen, Christopher Holmes. He is an author, a businessman, photographer, ladies and gentlemen, and an up-and-coming billionaire that we're working for as well. So we're excited about that as well, Chris. I love it, man. You know, Chris, in this area of being an author, you know, you got to have a wonderful sense of humor as well. I'm sure as well.
Gotcha.
How important is humor involved in your journey, man? Because you can't be all pain all the time. Gotta have some fun,
I feel
right?
like you got to have joy in your life. I mean, throughout your all life, you got to keep smiling. Because if you stay in that kind of funk and all that, it drains so much out of you.
Yeah, man.
So not just in this being an author, but in life in general, it's always good to feed your mind positive energy and just stay uplifted,
Right.
because you perform so much better when you do that. And keep in mind, energy is very contagious.
Yeah.
So if you every day you're going to bump into random different people, like if you're going to pump your gas, going to the grocery store or wherever, you're going to bump into people. And if you carry yourself with a smile and you're like good morning and all that, you may have just helped leave a great impact on somebody. Somebody could have been like in a rough spot, and just because you smiled and you just noticed them, now they're a lot better. The same thing reverse happens if you do the other thing. So if you're walking around all moping and someone says good morning, you're like, oh, whatever. You probably just messed up their kind of brought them down. Now they're like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, exactly.
So energy is very contagious, and I tell people to try to keep themselves uplifted. I know we go through ups and downs. We're all human beings. We're all going through challenges and much more. But keep yourself uplifted as much as possible. And as like I said, we're like human beings. If you have to cry, whatever, don't let it out. But at the same time, you got to keep yourself going.
Absolutely, Chris. Yeah, we were just talking about that in another meeting about just being sensitive to the moment, and just be aware. You don't have to get in all people's business, but don't put them down even more if they're already sad. Don't help them get lower, is my point. The goal is to bring them up, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we do on You Need to Bring It. We want you to bring your best and bring out your best as well. And our wonderful guest today, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Christopher Holmes. So glad he was able to join the network today. And if you would, Chris, let's do another commercial break, man. Tell people how to get in touch with you and get those books.
Okay, again, you can go to my main website where you find everything, and it's called www.yourvoiceissoulproductions.com. You go to that. When you hit my homepage, you find all my social media at the top. You can go from there. Or the next easiest way is if you just search the hashtag Soul Productions. I use it so much, you can easily find me from Twitter, Instagram, and all that and much more, because I use that heavily to try to keep tracking brand wise. So the three individual top ones I think would be from Facebook. If you just search Soul Productions or just add Soul Productions 1, you'll find my Facebook page. You see the SP, that's me. Instagram, you can put C Holmes. That's my nickname. And the 2 underscores, you'll see me in the suit, the book, of course, and that's me. Or you use Twitter, C Holmes _. Try to keep those 2 consistent, so it's, you can find pretty easy. If you want to get a book, just text book to my number, which is 936-585-6537. And then I'll send a link to you so that you can get that book to you and start sharing a great inspiration and much more.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much for that, Chris. We'll probably do that one more time before we leave you so folks can get to that information for those who are joining us. Hey, also welcome everybody who's joining us live right now and later on as well. Thank you so much for joining us on You Need to Bring It. Kevin Vaughan and my special guest, Christopher Holmes. Hey, Chris, we got to talk about our young people today, your generation, if you don't mind. Lots going on. Lots going on in different arenas. We could talk about that all day. But I want to give you some time to talk to your generation, if you will, and the ones before that, and even after that, for that matter, but specifically talk to your generation about the importance of faith and also the importance of having tenacity today, having some drive. Now, you may not have somebody to help you, but people have to pull it out of you somehow. But whatever you want to say in that area, just to encourage the generation that you're in today. Thank you so much.
Cool. So faith, I believe, is very important. I know everybody has different practices and much more, but it's the kind of keeping summaries is a form of meditation, because you want to start your day on a positive note. You don't want to start on the downside. You want to start uplifted. You want to start in a good mood and energy so that you can go on throughout your life, because life is going to throw challenges. You're going to go through ups and downs, because it's just how life is. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And you got to have the belief that the impossible is possible. You got to have that belief and faith that everything's going to be good. You may not see it today, tomorrow, next week, or months, but you have to keep believing that it will be good, because that's what's going to keep you going. And it's just that strong faith and belief is going to take you so much further, so many different ways. Next, of course, with the faith, you got to have that drive. The first I mentioned this, I'm saying this in the moment of this, I'm thinking Eric Thomas at the top of my head immediately, because like when you want as bad as you want to breathe, then you will be successful. Like seriously, like I watched that video, but it makes so much sense because you're going to have that drive. You're going to have to go over, like when people are asleep and you're putting work in, you're going to have to make some adjustments to do even bigger things. You're going to have to say like, hey, I can't party today. I got to focus on my skills. Or I can't spend money on this right now. I got to invest in something else. And you got to have that. It's like that drive to go even further. So that is what's going to really make you different and make that story so much even more encouraging, because you're going to see a person that has went through adversity and much more, but at the same time took that adversity, uplifted the people around him or her and kept going. And you carry yourself like that, the sky's the limits, and so many could think, nothing can stop you.
Yeah, exactly, Chris. You hit it right on the head, man. Nothing can stop you. And that's what we want to talk about today a little bit later. You got to be patient, right? Be patient with yourself. Don't beat yourself up. You're doing a great job. Believe me, you're doing a better job than you think, for sure. And also, you got to be self-encouraging. Like he said, when you wake up in the morning, man, you're most likely by yourself. So, you got to encourage yourself to get up and get rolling, right, as well.
I want to dive deep into that a little bit more, because I think that's another big, especially with the internet age and much more, is you have to be able to like look yourself in the mirror and speak positive things about yourself. I feel like now I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just peer pressure, just the way the media throws images or like things you see constantly, but you got to start looking at yourself in a positive way. And if you psychologically or inside, every time you look in the mirror, you think yourself negative, and that's going to be a draining effect on you. So you got to look at yourself, love yourself, and look at yourself in a positive way. And then everything else will take yourself. So ladies, you look at yourself in the mirror and be like, look, I'm the dime piece of the time. I can walk this runway. Or you can be like, as the guys be, look, I'm a great father. I'm a great encourager. I'm a great person to make an impact. I'm the voice of reason. If you keep telling yourself these things over and over and over again, it's going to be your reality.
Yes, exactly, man. I love it, Chris. That's great wisdom, ladies and gentlemen, from Chris Holmes, ladies and gentlemen. He's a businessman, author, and photographer, and so much more. Ladies and gentlemen, awesome young man. We're so proud of him and excited for him to be with us. Chris, we got to talk about how do you, the type of people that need to be around you. Let's talk about that one. You better have some help, guys. You cannot do it by yourself. I know you're smart, but guess what? You need to surround yourself with some people that can mentor you, or you're mentoring, or whatever. The whole purpose. What kind of people should we surround ourselves with today, Chris?
So you should always surround yourself in general, and I'll go a little bit more depth, with people that's going to challenge you or uplift you, encourage you to do even further. It's like the old saying that you are the average of the 5 people in your circle. So you might as well have some people that are doing some great things. So using myself as an example, like I have like a strong mother, my grandparents that raised me. Of course, along the way, I have teachers that made an impact into my life, coaches, people I still affiliate and do things and network with all the time with. And then you meet other like business coaches or groups like ATS, and just more circles. So if you constantly surround yourself with people who are like-minded or want to achieve great things, or better yet, get around people who are in the position where you want to be. We didn't just come into our life knowing everything. You got to learn from somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
So it makes sense. Like if you see someone who's like where you at, like ask questions or just hang around them, or just be around that energy, and you'll start picking up things, learn things real quick.
Yeah, powerful, man. I love it. That's great wisdom, ladies and gentlemen, from Christopher Holmes, talking about that. Chris, I got to tell you a quick story, man. I had in high school, was it middle school? Middle school, I had the best art teacher on the planet, man. And I was in there all the time, with the different things. We did art as well. But just recently, Chris, I wanted to find my art teacher, man, and see if she was still alive, just to thank her. Because everything that she taught us, as far as the thinking, the artistic side, it brought out poetry, writing and invention items, all kind of thinking, different thinking, engineering area. That kind of all meshed together when I got thinking about it. Okay, she helped out a little bit in that area. But anyway, I had to locate her through her daughters, and I literally had to go back and thank her. Man, I found her. She was fine, doing good. Of course, she's a little older, obviously. But the point is, I wanted to just thank her. I just typed her an email and said, thank you so much for what you did to bring me to the level that I'm at today with my family. I'm an engineer, and all of that kind of brought that around. I said, man, but I wanted to thank everybody who poured into me and say, hey, you can be whatever you want to be, but always brought your talents out too. So yeah, that's so powerful there. But I thank God for my art teacher, man, because she did make an impact. But I didn't realize it till you think about it. Oh yeah, I'm just so glad she was still around and when I could do that.
Mm-hmm. So and it's crazy, like when you do stuff like that, because you never know the effects. You just saying that, man, uplifted her spirits so much even further. Yeah. So it's always good to give people their roses while they're here.
Absolutely. In fact, I'm glad you mentioned that because we love our teachers. I want to salute teachers right now. Every teacher, every administrator, we salute you. Every teacher that's doing the right teaching methods and all that good stuff, has sincere hearts, all of that. And we understand situations, but anyway, we talk about the good teachers, those who really love you and care for you and want you to be all you can be. And when you go back or when you get your 5 or 6 PhDs and you got your 20, 30 books out there and you're making $500,000 a year or more, that's a good way. That's what they're happy about. They're happy about that. So when you go back and say thank you, and you may buy them a car or something, or whatever you want to do. So the point is you thank them, for everything as well. I love it. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is You Need to Bring It with Kevin Vaughan and my wonderful guest today, Mr. Christopher Holmes. We're going to wrap this up because we got things to do today. I know he's busy as well. So we want to give Chris the last few minutes here so we can keep it moving. But Chris, again, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. He's an author of 6 books. If y'all don't have a half a book, y'all need to get it out. And Chris can also help you as well on top of that. But Chris, we'll give you some final thoughts there, my friend, and then also let us know how to get in touch with you once again, if you don't mind. Anything you want to say to the network, my friend?
Yeah, I will go ahead and say, take your life to the next level. Don't get comfortable. Always step beyond your comfort zone, because beyond your comfort zone is where you will grow into the person you were destined to be. Yeah. So if you want to stretch and reach for the stars, it's time for you to take it to the next level, because you never know who's watching.
That's right. Could be Antonio T. Smith. Could be watching you like Junior. Could be watching you right now. Let's get ready to take you to billionaire status.
Yes. And where they can find me and all that. So again, then just go to my website, yourvoiceissoulproductions.com, and you'll find pretty much everything. You hit that home page. At the top, you'll see all my social network where you can just tap it and go from there. So Twitter, CHolmes_, Instagram, CHolmes 2_, and go to Facebook, Soul Productions 2_. Now, of course, I have a lot more, but I don't want to overload everybody in the last minutes. But then lastly, I will say this, if you just search the hashtag Soul Productions, you can find me from there.
Hey, man, that's awesome, man. I'm excited about that. Thank you so much, Chris, for being with us today. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, also, too, my pastor talked about this, Chris, a while back. You know how we used to say to think outside the box? And I heard her say, there is no box. So, I love it, man. When she said that, okay, that makes sense. There is no box. So get that out of your head. Don't think outside the box. Don't think inside the box.
It never existed.
It never existed, exactly. So don't fall for the Kool-Aid in that area. There is unlimited potential because it's all right here. I love it. And the reason why, because you were created by the Almighty, ladies and gentlemen. He created you, and therefore he put a part of his DNA in you to be unlimited and to produce and to build and to talent everything you want. As long as it's good. We want the good stuff, of course, but we want you to talent everything that's good to bring out. That's wonderful. Well, Chris, we thank you, man, for being part of the network, and you are welcome anytime. Let's talk about offline. We'll talk about the showcase, the poetry showcase, if you want to do that. Or we could do a photography showcase where the photographers can show their work. We can do whatever you want, man. We can do another author's showcase. We can do that too. We've done that. We've done an author showcase. We've done poetry from around the globe. So it'll be a lot of fun, I think, and give everybody a few minutes to talk about what they do and keep it going, man. So yeah, whatever you want to do, my friend, we'll be glad to do that with you. So,
really appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kevin Vaughan and special guest Christopher Holmes. Ladies and gentlemen, he is an author, businessman, and a photographer, and we're just excited about him being with us today and taking some time out to enjoy this time with you. I hope you guys got something out of it today. I did. I learned a lot from him as well. Also, it gives us insight to what the next generation is doing to be great. I love it. So that's exciting when you think about it, guys, and it's just good to be here to witness some of that as well. All right, Mr. Holmes, we appreciate you, brother. God bless you today, and we'll talk to you guys a little later on. Hey, remember to, as Dr. Larry Carnes would say, always out love, out forgive, and out serve each other. And remember, Jesus is Lord. Once again, Mr. Holmes, thank you so much.